Okay. Welcome everybody to the meeting. The Recycle Water Committee here in Monterey One Water's boardroom on Thursday, January 18th, 2024. Start out with a roll call.
Pacific Grove, Veranda,
Here.
Marina Coast,
Here.
Castroville,
Here.
Monterey, and we do have a quorum.
Okay. Now's the time to ask for any additions to the agenda for today's meeting. Nothing?
No modifications from staff. And I did just hear Director Williamson's parking.
Parking right now. Okay, good. Anything to add? Nothing? Okay, so we get a motion of approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Get a motion and second. Anything from the public on our agenda? See anything? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. And the motion carries unanimous. Now it's the time for public comments on items not on today's agenda. See if we have any public comments. Okay, seeing none, move on to number 6. Consider approval of recycled water minutes of November 16th, 2023.
Move approval. Second.
You got a motion and second. Any public comments? Seeing none. Call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion carries unanimous. Number 7, update on Pure Water Monterey and Pure Water Monterey expansion projects. Dave's not here.
Dave's not here, so we'll just give a brief update. And actually, Chai, is it possible to move Allison over as a panelist so she can chime in as well? So Pure Water Monterey is producing as expected during the wintertime, where, as you know, it increases the production during the wintertime when water is available. Expansion is moving forward as well. And we did get some good news from the state on a potential grant that the agreement is in-house. We're doing some review, a legal opinion needs to be issued, and we'll sign the agreement. So some of those grant funds that Mike and others told you about, up to $42 million, it is coming in-house with an agreement. With that, Allison, do you have any other updates regarding the project you'd like to say?
Just a brief update on the construction of the advanced water purification facility expansion. We're moving very quickly through the submittal phase. Last week we received the preliminary schedule showing that the contractor expects to be finished within the agreed upon schedule, and getting our first request for payment. And so it's moving along on schedule and within budget.
Great. Thank you, Allison. Thank you. Any comments, questions from the board? Anything from the public? And then we'll move on. Item number 8, consider recommending approval of amendment number 2 to the Prop 1 Integrated Regional Water Management Grant for the City of Salinas.
Thank you, Chair Stefani. Members of the committee, Mike McCullough, Director of External Affairs. So I've been working closely with Johanna Vargas and Jennifer Gonzalez on this item. This is in regards to a grant that all the entities worked on collectively back in 2021. Had a little bit of a slow start as our portion of the grant, we were supposed to go out to bid. We did go out to bid, came back higher and then what we had budgeted for. Then we kind of stopped work altogether because we didn't have a path forward. And so the City of Salinas wanted us to go back out to bid. So we went back out to bid. It came back even higher than before. And so then we were working with the City of Salinas to determine how to best fund these additional costs. So working with Public Works Director David Jacobs, the city identified some funds that could pay for these additional costs. So what this amendment number 2 is just saying the city is going to agree to pay for these elevated costs associated with the grant work that we need to do for this IRWM grant. That's kind of it in a nutshell. If anybody has any specific questions, we can definitely dive into the details. And obviously this item is precursor to what Jen's going to bring up next. So happy to take any questions.
Go ahead, Tom.
Any idea why the bids came in so much higher?
I think first is climate. I think there was just and we only got one bidder on the second time we rebid it.
And you mean bidding climate, not weather climate, right?
Well, it could be both. Bidding climate, I think is the main one.
And also the estimate was back in 2019 when the grant was awarded and we went out for bid in 2022. So there's a difference of, as you know, increase in prices.
Oh, but there's been no inflation since then.
Of course not. No.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay.
Do we have any comments from the public? You none to bring it back to the board for action?
Move approval. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries unanimous. Right on to item 9, consider recommending award of a contract for the 33-inch industrial wastewater pipeline condition assessment.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Stefani, members of the committee, Jennifer Gonzalez, CIP Manager. This is the follow-on to what Mike just spoke about with the grant that we are a sub-grantee from the City of Salinas, from the IRWM program, from Monterey County Water Resources Agency, who is actually administering the grant. So we're kind of 3 levels down on it. One component of the grant was for us to perform a condition assessment of an abandoned 33-inch industrial wastewater pipeline from our pump station down to the industrial wastewater treatment facility. It includes cleaning and flushing of the pipeline, CCTV work, and work to gain access to the line, including installation of additional manholes and manways as necessary to get that access. Our board approved an agreement to extend the performance dates from the original 2021 agreement with the city, allowing $448,922 of grant money to be used for the project. The project was bid for the second time in October of 2023. One bid was received November 9th from Pipe and Plant Solutions for $598,000, obviously higher than the amount allocated by the grant. The City of Salinas in the interim has agreed to pay the difference, and that's what Mike just brought to you. Staff asks that the Recycled Water Committee recommend that the board approve a contract for the 33-inch industrial wastewater pipeline condition assessment to Pipe and Plant Solutions Incorporated in the not to exceed amount of $598,600. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? I knew his hand was up.
Been waiting to give you all a chance.
Go ahead.
You snooze, you lose.
Get it in now.
Yeah, so do we have an inkling? Well, obviously, if we're doing a condition assessment, we have some concerns about the condition of the pipe, but do we have an inkling as to whether or not we're going to have to do any pipelining or?
So there will be some follow-on work that will need to be done to make the pipe usable in the future. We know that there's a section of the pipe that was cut out at some point in the interim years when the City of Salinas installed their new 42-inch industrial wastewater treatment pipeline. And then there's an area where we thought that some manholes were installed when the city did that project. We're not able to find those manholes, and there were no as-builts done during their project. So we're not 100% sure of what we're going to find. We know that it still exists. We know that we think that it's in fairly good condition, but there will have to be some follow-on work done by grant monies or by the city of Salinas in the future.
So for clarification, this line was abandoned by the city. So it was a wastewater line. They've replaced it. However, fast forward to, let's see if we could use that asset. That's why they received the grant to do a condition assessment to see if they could possibly use it for stormwater. So this is all the city's project. We are helping them with this small portion of the grant to do a condition assessment so they can evaluate if they want to use it for their stormwater program.
Thank you very much.
I do have a few questions. Where exactly is this at? Is it possible for us to see visual?
Salinas.
So I don't have a map with me, but basically between our Salinas pump station and the industrial wastewater treatment facility, which is at the end of Blanco Road right next to the river. So it's about a 2-mile distance.
And our pump station's over by the animal control area there.
Yeah, right next to the city of Salinas's animal shelter and the Monterey County Animal Shelter. They're both
Oh,
right on either
Hitchcock?
side.
Yeah,
Hitchcock
I
Road.
suggest Director Bino take you for a personal tour.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
You actually had some
Director
pretty
William-
good.
I'm sorry.
Maps, Mike.
We can get
Yeah,
those.
we
We just
should-
didn't provide that.
Right.
here.
Why don't we just get one together for the board meeting?
Like-
Whether it's, I mean, it'll probably be on consent, but just in case it comes up, we can show the general location.
Of course.
Yeah, because I could just look it out on the consent.
And
Uh,
Director Williamson, I see that this is a common request of yours as far as maps when we talk about our
visuals are always
facilities.
Nice pictures.
So I will ensure that we have maps going forward on any of our projects that we bring to the board.
Okay, thank you. And then just one additional follow-up. Does this have anything to do with that grant funding that was an issue with Salinas? Is this kind of us moving forward with?
So that was round 2. So that's the brother, the
Of this
bigger
grant fund.
brother of this one.
Okay,
Yes. So that, as Jen stated, obviously if we work together to get more stormwater captured, we could take that to the ponds through that 33-inch line. And that's what this project is all about potentially utilizing more of those sources of water in the future.
perfect. All right, thank you.
And
Yep, go ahead.
Jennifer, what was that? What's that line consist of? What kind of material is that?
So most of the line, I believe, is reinforced concrete pipe, but there may be some areas where there's some corrugated metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Pretty-
that's part of our
pretty
condition assessment to see what it looks like, what's there. If it's corrugated metal, not as good as if it's reinforced concrete.
Right, but keep in mind that it would be handling storm flow versus wastewater flow. So it doesn't have to be at the level of, say, a wastewater line.
And my understanding is that some of the sizing when this pipe was put in, we've always called it the 33-inch, but when they were demolishing whatever part and putting in a new line, they think it could be up to 37 inches. So
pretty odd size.
Okay. Do we have any public comments on this?
I think
Did I-
Allison had her hand up just for reference.
Yeah, go ahead, Allison.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yes.
and we can
Yes.
see
Oh.
you too.
Would you like me to share the map that I have?
Oh.
handy?
Oh,
Yes.
Great, yeah.
Okay.
Just give her enough time.
Magic.
it'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
I think this should work. You should be able to see it soon.
You can see it.
Okay, now you should see it.
Hmm.
33-inch pipeline starts at what's called TP1 here. South of this is the city of Salinas here. So our Salinas pump station is right next to it. The pipe is sort of sloped downward to the Salinas treatment facility influent pump station. And this is the Salinas River, if you can see my cursor.
Yes.
This is helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
That's Blanco Road above the TP1. And then the line that goes down
Davis Road.
Davis Road and then, yeah.
Hitchcock.
And that's Hitchcock, right next to.
Yeah, Hitchcock Road. This is the farm worker housing site.
What is particularly interesting, if that is in fact the pipeline alignment, is that it crosses over so much ag land.
Yes.
You know, usually those sorts of things are in roads.
So for this one, yeah, it's in ag land. There are easements that the city of Salinas has for all of those. I think they're 25-foot wide easements. But most of the work that we'll be doing will be very near the roads for access.
And my understanding, Director Moore, is that the city and those pipeline easements, there was also another pipeline that used to be the old wastewater discharge line. I don't know if it was a similar type of route, but they have forever easements written into the documents. So kind of an interesting take on that. And that one wastewater pipeline, that easement is still available if that ever needed to arise, but trying to find that would be.
Interesting,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you.
All right, any public comment? Don't see any. Okay, we'll bring it back to the board.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Move on to item 10. Consider recommending approval of a contract with Brown and Caldwell for outfall improvement.
Thank
Jen
you.
again?
I'll be doing this one as well. Chai, could you bring Bob over for question in case there are questions?
Yes.
From the other side, thanks. Monterey One Water owns a 60-inch ocean outfall pipeline where excess secondary effluent and saline waste is discharged under our NPDES permit. Cal-Am would like to collaborate with M1W to use the ocean outfall for the Monterey Peninsula Water Supply Project. In September of 2023, the board approved an agreement related to that project with Cal-Am for two tasks. One was the NPDES permitting, and one was the outfall improvement projects. An RFP addressing the second task, the outfall improvements, was advertised on October 20th of 2023. One proposal was received from Brown and Caldwell on December 5th, which was reviewed by a committee of M1W staff and Cal-Am. The committee rated their submittal very highly, 96 points out of 100. The contract total is for a not to exceed cost of $541,872 and includes 4 different portions. Project management, coordination, and value engineering of previous design documents, finalizing a basis of design report for the brine mixing structure on our property, gasket seal replacement, diffuser, and end gate modifications that would actually be on the ocean outfall portion of the pipe, and then an outfall protection liner that would be from our headworks all the way out to the ocean. Staff asks that the Recycled Water Committee recommend that the board approve a contract with Brown and Caldwell in the not to exceed amount of $541,872, which will be fully funded by Cal-Am. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any members' questions? Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, does this work require a coastal development permit from California Coastal Commission?
Yes, it will.
Eventually, the design work does not.
Correct. So yeah, the Brown and Caldwell, what's before you doesn't require those permits. It's just design, but ultimately when it's constructed, it will require a CDP.
Okay, so when I was, the 5 bullet items. Actually, only one uses the word design. That was what was puzzling me. Some of this sounds like actual work.
Yeah, these are actually design.
Okay, and is that project management and coordination, that's only over the design part?
That's for the whole contract. So that's one of their tasks
Whole
within the,
contract is only for design.
Correct.
yes,
Correct.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
what I wanted to confirm. And Calium is paying for all of this.
Yes, they have I'm not sure if it's called a retainer, but they've provided a deposit of $750,000 to start these efforts.
And how do we bill them as that fund goes down?
So that was part of the negotiation and reimbursement agreement that we approved last year. I don't know if that was November or
September
October, September?
September
Oh my God.
25th.
And so it's not only for this part of the project, but also for the Larry Walker contracts for permitting and modeling. They deposit, we draw down. When it gets down to a certain amount, we request more. And so it never goes to zero.
Right.
And we will never be out of pocket. It will be Cal-Am's expenditures.
Well, it shouldn't go to zero, but on the other hand, if there's any delay in them getting replenishment funds in, it could.
Could.
We got to pay bills on time.
I mean, thus far, they've been responsive in providing checks.
What is the trigger amount that,
Is it $200,000? I forget what the amount is. I don't know. We can look back at
you
the
can tell me offline?
reimbursement agreements.
Bob's
Remember.
talking.
Oh, he is?
He's on.
You're on mute, Bob.
$200,000 is the,
200? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
welcome.
That's the trigger amount.
Yeah.
So when the 750 gets down to 200, we're going to request additional funds based on the contracts that have been awarded and or the anticipated ones coming up.
We can't.
So Jennifer, on basically on these bullet points, it's basically what Cal-Am, their specifications, basically what they need to happen in order to keep moving forward.
Yep. Yeah, they specified and we worked with them to put together the RFP.
So
with
when
their-
we do get to that, as Tom was saying, the coastal commission, those type of matters, that's just a whole nother. That 750 obviously is going to be, it's going to be a different contract, right? Or agreement.
Correct. So right now there's the 750, which is, like I said, the permitting and modeling side of things to understand so there's multiple permits that we would need to get on their behalf. One is through the regional board. And then as we proceed with the design of improvements, a coastal permit. So there'll be more coming at you over the years. Cal-Am certainly has a sense of urgency and has a schedule in mind. We just need to make sure we can meet that as best as possible, but it's also sort of out of our hands depending on what the regional board or coastal commission do. Just to be completely upfront about schedule.
And sorry,
Right,
follow up. If and when it comes to it, it's Monterey One Water applying for the coastal development permit. And probably or possibly some of our directors having to go to coastal commission events along those lines. Is that
Potentially,
fair? Okay,
potentially.
all right. Thank you.
We're still trying to understand and navigate that side of the house, in all honesty.
Haven't done it a lot, have we?
No. I mean, I know Bob has on the outfall, but
right.
no, we have not. And this is just interesting in the fact that from an environmental perspective, we're relying on the CPUC EIR on the project that we hope covers everything in here. So we need to provide to you that assurance that everything's good. So that's why it's going to come back to you multiple times going into the future.
Good luck.
Council directors. Any, okay, public comment on this item? See any, bring it back to the board for action.
Second.
A motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion carries unanimous. Moving on to the board. Okay. What's next? Number 11, consider recommending adoption of the revised MOA for the Central Coast Long-Term Environmental Network. Who's taking this?
Mr. Guzman.
Good afternoon, Chair Stefani and members of the committee. I am Jose Guzman, Operations Manager for Monterey One Water. As part of Monterey One Water's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, our NPDES permit, we are required to participate in a mandatory long-term ocean ambient monitoring program called the Central Coast Long-Term Environmental Assessment Network, which I'll refer to as CCLEAN. CCLEAN is funded by the point source dischargers to the Monterey Bay, including 3 Bay cities, Moss Landing Energy Storage Facility, Monterey One Water, the Carmel Area Wastewater District, among others. The CCLEAN program has worked under a memorandum of agreement since its inception in 2001. There have been no changes to the MOA until November of 2022, when a subcommittee comprised of CCLEAN participants initiated an MOA update. In October of 2023, the CCLEAN Steering Committee finalized revisions to the MOA, which include the following: revisions to clarify language from the 2001 MOA, added participants and revised participant names and/or ownership, and revised liability language as reviewed and approved by respective participants' legal counsel. Staff asked that the Recycle Water Committee recommend that the board adopt the revised Central Coast Long-Term Environmental Assessment Network Memorandum of Agreement as required by Monterey One Water's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. I'm here to answer any questions you may have at this point.
Thank you, Jose. Questions from directors? Oh, go ahead.
So this MOA or this agreement appoints the city of Watsonville as the lead agency. Is that a change? Does that sometimes rotate with?
It does rotate, and with the changes we've had internally and with the direction that the committee is going in, we'll probably become more active in it so we can have more input and provide more direction to that committee. And that does not require any update to the MOA.
You mean changing the lead agency?
Yes, changing the lead agency.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's the wording. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any comments or questions from the public?
Move approval.
In this motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Move on to item 12, consider recommending approval of a adjustment in a contract amendment. H2O consulting services for our microgrid and renewable energy project, not to exceed 75,000.
So, thank you, Ron. As you know, we've been working with Region Monterey on this renewable energy project, starting off with a connection from their landfill gas renewable energy cogen facility to the advanced water purification facility. There's a number of other items that we're looking at. The plant is undergoing already some modifications to our digesters to be able to accept more organics, hopefully from Region Monterey. We've been staffing this with consultants primarily on this joint project and splitting the cost 50-50. Black & Veatch has sort of a program management role. GHD is a consultant doing the feasibility study. And Gary Darling of Darling H2O Consulting has been helping out for a number of years, facilitating this moving forward with Felipe Melchor, the general manager at Regen, and myself, as well as all of our staff that's working on it. This, I think, will be one of the last amendments to Gary's agreement with us on this project, because the feasibility study is due to be done in the March-April timeframe. So what we tried to do here is have enough to cover Gary's time and materials for that. At that point, we'll be coming back to the board to revisit what we want to allocate towards this endeavor and how we want to do it. So Gary will continue to work a couple days a week in providing input, review, and comment on everything. Ron, I know you're on the ad hoc committee and have seen, Gary in action. in the near future, meaning probably March-ish, we will have a presentation from the consultant on this project because of that feasibility study will be substantially complete. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Paul. I'll just make a couple comments from that meeting. We had a meeting last Friday. And we got some first results from the feasibility study, and things are looking pretty encouraging. The information we wanted did come back, and it says that we probably could have a good viable project and have plenty of power for all of us. So it's encouraging. Questions? Go ahead.
Is the 75K from that's coming from the microgrid renewable energy account, is that split 50-50? So are we M1W only contributing 50% of that 75?
Yes. So that's how we've done it up to date. Now, we do need to drill down into Gary's contract specifically, because we want to make sure that both parties, Regen and Monterey One Water, get equal benefit from all these. And if Gary's working on more stuff from us, I do want to discuss it in more detail with Felipe, just to make sure that they're comfortable with the sharing of costs through the end of this phase. But the answer has been yes in the past, and we're anticipating that on this portion too.
Okay. And then just a final question. How are we doing in regards to the anticipated timeline for this project?
We're delayed, in all honesty. The feasibility study, we should have had our final reports right around now, and we're looking probably more like the middle of March. Things are sliding out a little bit. There were some changes to the scope that we requested from the consultant from GHD. There's also been waiting for comments and review of certain documents. What is being produced is pretty voluminous and dense in terms of content. So we are taking a little more time reviewing. We, meaning Monterey One, and certainly Regen as well. It's getting there. It's not there yet.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, any comments from the public on this item? Okay, seeing none, bring it back to the directors.
Approve. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries unanimous. Move on to item 13, staff reports.
I have none. I don't know if staff reports you guys.
I just want to share that the staff at the plant, the engineer department, and actually here at admin has spent the last 2 days working with the interview process. It's an extensive, comprehensive process that had a tour of our plant, had at the RTP, also had a interview process with staff members, and then had an interview process with the executives. And so yesterday was the director of IT, and today was the director of engineering. We had 2 candidates for each position. And so just wanted to thank my team for taking time out of their day. Hiring is an important aspect of what we do here. And so half of their day on both days were dedicated in putting their effort and input for these 2 new positions. So thank you.
I'll add that next Friday, the 26th, we'll be having a tour from Morro Bay. We'll be coming up to look at our advanced water treatment facility and the injection wells. And then I'll be attending a conference to go over some legislative bills next week as well.
And you want to bring up the Reno tour as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a tour from Reno officials. They brought 14 individuals that came down, and they're in the process. What now?
They flew to San Francisco and then took a bus down.
We provided lunch. We had a great discussion about our project and then what they're trying to do. The only thing that's real different about our project and their project is that they don't have a brine line to send their reject out. So they're going to use a different treatment train, and they're going to be looking to injecting water into some of their groundwater basins. So the tour is mainly of regulatory individuals from their health departments asking this question. So it was really well received, and thanks to the staff out at RTP that helped us with that.
No questions, comments?
I have a quick question. Tammy, on the staff front, I remember you were saying that we're pretty short in terms of short-staffed. Is that changed at all in terms of the numbers on the lower side or besides this interview process?
Right, so these positions are actually executive team members for Paul. So they won't actually be helping the RTP, well, they will be, I guess, supporting. But we have filled some of the positions. And in fact, Jose, how are you full up?
Yes, we're in the process. We have two candidates that we're bringing on board. They're going through the background check. And I haven't spoke with Lyra lately of the status of that, but I would say within the next several weeks, we may have those two gentlemen on board with us. So on the operations side, we're pretty much up to speed right now.
So in general, we're doing a lot better. And
Mhm.
thanks for bringing that up. We have budgeted about 106 positions, 107 positions. We were down 29 is probably what you're thinking about, Kent. Last time I checked with Lyra, I thought we were at 23 positions that we're still trying to find. So she's whittling away at it. And it's not just her, it's Diana and others as well. So as an agency, we're getting there.
Right, and the AWPF operator, we're gonna send that out for opening, internal only, but we chose to wait on that. So in the meantime, there are several operators that are rotating through to help our lead operator out there, Jaren, right now. And so one person was, taking his AWP or his, what is it
AWT,
called? Yeah. yeah,
AWT.
AWT test to allow him to work there. And so anyway, we wanted as big a pool as we possibly can. So that would make 3 that would have the opportunity to put in for that position. So that should be filled and then we would backfill that. So it's an ongoing process, but we're certainly better than we were a couple months ago. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else? No other committee member comments?
Thank you for your work. Appreciate it. Chair for keeping the meeting short.
Yeah. Ready. We'll call this meeting adjourned.